Now hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a pretty interesting emergency to talk about, I guess. Or is it an emergency situation? It kind of is. So let's just dive in right here. Now, normally a plane has something called a control lock. Yeah, you can see a control lock like this in a lot of planes of different, sizes and shapes. I'm pretty sure there are Cessnas with control locks, but I'm also pretty sure that there are some airliners with control locks as well on their yokes or in general flight controls. Now, of course, their purpose is to lock the controls, which kind of makes sense. And you are most obviously supposed to remove them before you actually go ahead and take off, because, you won't be able to control your aircraft, right? It makes a lot of sense. Now, let's see what happens if you exactly don't do that. What if you have no control of your aircraft? As you can see right here, control lock still in. Let's see what happens. All right, what we have now is an unmovable yoke. Right now, I'm moving the flight controls. The only controls that actually work here in the plane are the rudders. But other than that, we cannot control this plane anymore. Okay, actually, this is a pretty dumb emergency. You would have to be very, very dumb to forget to remove your control lock, but that's another story. Let's just go ahead and take off. Actually, things like that can happen all the time. Something that can also happen is that your cables, the flight control cables, actually snap in small planes, even though that's very much unlikely and never going to happen. Oh, but we have now noticed we have no control of your aircraft. This is why before the takeoff, you would normally check your control just to make sure that you have the full control, 100% of your plane. Let's just do a emergency landing, kind of, meaning that I just cut the throttle and guided this plane into a safe landing on the runway. There we go. That was nice enough. As you can see, I noticed that there was a control lock activated very much early, which probably led to our survival. We probably would have drifted over to the right side where the sea is at, and that could have actually gone wrong. But this worked out pretty well. I was able to change the altitude of the plane and maneuver it to the ground with throttle, so no problem about that. Now, yeah, well, as I've already said, having complete loss of your flight controls is extremely rare, but it can happen. So let's simulate that as well. So we are airborne. The plane is flying just fine and we have full control of it. Let's go ahead and get rid of that control. There we go. Now I've noticed, oh god damn it, we have no control of this plane. What are we gonna do? Of course, we are going to die. What are we gonna do now? Honestly, the thing is, we do not have multiple engines, which you do have in airliners, for example. The benefit of having multiple engines in a case like this is obviously that you can apply differential thrust. So for example, you would have the right engine push more power, which makes the aircraft turn to the left, for example. Now that is something that we cannot do. So we're gonna have to improvise a little bit, I guess. Let's maybe work together with the engine torque, which will push our plane to the left, hopefully, or something. Oh, never mind. It pushes our plane to the right for some reason. Okay, we gotta find some kind of way to land. In a case like this, in my plane, I fly a Cirrus SR-20. I would just pull the parachute, but we're in a Cessna 172, which does not have a parachute. So, yeah, again, we're gonna have to improvise a little bit, and we're spinning. That's not good. But let's get a little closer to the ground. We just want to avoid buildings and water as well, even though water right now seems to be the best option. Oh, god damn it. All right, this is gonna be a pretty interesting landing, I guess. Due to the plane's engine's torque, we have entered a very interesting spin. The only thing that we can do to control this plane is pretty much to, I don't know, use flaps and thrust. That's all we got. For some reason, the rudder has stopped working too, so we're just spinning to death pretty much. I mean, we can make this a very smooth touchdown on the ground here in the middle of the city, but this is not a very perfect place to land a plane. Oh goodness. All right, here we go. Okay, that was not so good. So let's try a plane that has the ability to, go for differential thrust. All right, welcome aboard the 737. So far, this plane's been working just fine this whole flight. And we're actually approaching the airport of Nice, so no problem about that. But what happens now? We have lost control. So, again, the only thing that we can use pretty much to control this aircraft is flaps and thrust. Now, there have been emergencies like this before in airliners. It's actually not that uncommon. You can lose control very easily, especially if you have a loss of hydraulics or something that give you the ability to control your airplane in the first place. And when the hydraulic systems are gone, then you have a loss of control. And really, the only thing to control this plane is via throttle and maybe flaps as well, but not that much actually. Throttle helps quite a bit with altitude as well. And as you can see, we are already aligned for the runway here down at Nice Airport. So this will be probably a very normal landing, I hope, I guess. We're gonna use some flaps as well to get a lower speed. That might help us out a little bit as well. Oh, and we're gonna end up on the grass runway. Let's see how smooth I can make this landing, even though that's not the main focus, obviously, but you know, a nice smooth landing is always appreciated. Okay, that was not smooth. Let's stop at least. Again, our touchdown zone is not perfect, but it's fine enough as long as we, you know, land on a somewhat even surface. We're okay. There we go. This is actually not bad. We can just roll back onto the runway. This is pretty easy, isn't it? I think a more interesting challenge would actually be to have a loss of control immediately after takeoff, because then we will actually have to use the differential thrust, which is the interesting part, I guess. Looking good. Let's just go ahead and take off. Doesn't even matter. Alrighty. Welcome aboard. But now we have a loss of control. That's not good. What are we gonna do? Okay, yeah, we've genuinely lost it. Yeah, let's use the differential thrust or something. I have no idea. Okay. Oh goodness. I mean, a pretty easy solution would probably now be to just land on the actual ocean, because honestly, flying such a big airliner without any control is not a very good idea. All right, maybe this is not that much of a good idea. All right, never mind. Okay, so we are just flying normally. We have to return back to the airport, meaning that we'll cut the engine 1, which will cause our plane to turn right a little. Oh my goodness, quite a bit actually. All right, here we go. This is quite a turn, I would say, but this is actually looking good. I think I have the aircraft under control just fine. All right, let's turn left now, the other way around, meaning that we'll cut on the engine 2 and give more thrust on engine 1. I think we've got it. Oh, this is we're coming in very hot. Let's go for some thrust reversing in midair. This is a very dumb idea, and we need to turn right a little bit as well. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is not good. God damn. All right, let's try this approach again. Actually, this is not looking too bad, but let's try this again. All right, so just coming down onto the runway. We're looking good. Thrust reversers to lose altitude, I guess. Oh my goodness. All right, looking good, looking good. Not looking good. Oh yeah, a Reiner landing. God damn it. And now right into the terminal. Yeah, I think we're pretty lucky that hydraulic problems are not that much of a thing with airliners these days. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. As always, good night.